Well, for more in our coverage of this visit, we are looking at the issue of Catholics and whether the U.S. is hungry for major changes in church doctrine. For more on the Pope's visit, we are now joined in studio here by Jon O'Brien, the president of Catholics for Free Choice. And we showed some live pictures just a moment ago of the Pope addressing a group of bishops, berating them for their handling of some of the sex scandals that have occurred, saying they were very badly handled. What's your take on that?
Different popes bring a different hallmark to their papacies. John the 23rd brought a giornamento, or bringing up to date in the church, when he introduced Vatican II. John Paul II was a great communicator. Simple words and gestures, he could bring millions very close to his heart. We're hoping that Pope Benedict will actually, here in the United States and subsequent visits to other countries, be known as the listening Pope, listening to the church as it's lived by Catholics, as opposed to imagined from the lofty heights of the Vatican. The initial steps that he's made in this journey here in the United States are very encouraging. He talked about being deeply ashamed about the sexual abuse scandal. He talked about needing to do something about it in a contemporary way, as opposed to we've done something about it. So this is very encouraging to see a more pastoral rather than political approach by the Pope. And
but in other words, it seems there's lots more to be done, is what you're saying.
There's lots more to be done because there's great fissures, there's great divisions between the Catholic people and the Catholic hierarchy. Catholics, for example, use contraception. Whether you are in Poland, Portugal, the Philippines, or Portland, Catholics use contraception. The Church still has a ban on contraception. That ban on contraception gravely affects women in developing countries, where maternal and child mortality could be greatly reduced if people had access to contraception, life-saving contraception. With HIV and AIDS, the scourge of HIV and AIDS devastating Africa, the fact that the Church does not even allow married couples to use condoms to prevent the spread of HIV and AIDS, there's something that's not very pro-life or culture of life about that. So Catholics do want change in the Church, they do expect it, and we hope that this Pope is the type of listening Pope that can reflect on those changes.
So if there's this feeling that there is an absolute need for change in church doctrine, are you hopeful though, and how long would it take to see these kind of radical changes?
Looking for change in the Church is like running a marathon a couple of times over, and then once or twice for good luck. It takes a long time for change to come. Change does come though in church teachings, and it is possible. The Birth Control Commission that was set up during the 60s to examine whether change could happen on contraception said, the majority report said in fact it could. There was no obstacle to changing the ban and overturning the ban on contraception. The Pope at that time rejected the possibility of that happening out of fear that saying that basically they got it wrong would unravel the Church. Of course it would not unravel the Church. It would just save a lot of lives and greatly improve the lives of women, especially in the developing world, where the poorest of the poor.
What about allowing, though, priests to marry, for example? Is that something that you could see? Is that something you want to see? And could it actually?
Basically, what's happening is that churches here in the United States don't have any priests in them. So what's happening is they're amalgamating parishes, causing great pain and discomfort for Catholics. And we need a married priesthood. We also should be open to the idea of women being priests as well. Women have great gifts to offer the Church, and I think that it's a shame that really women are not better respected in this Church. You know, no corporation, no organization would have a situation where it would just be led by men.
All right, we're going to leave it there. Jon O'Brien, thank you so much for joining us.